We begin with one of the most significant North Korean ballistic missile launches since US President Joe Biden took office. South Korea is reporting at least one was fired into the Sea of Japan. The military says the weapon may have been designed for submarine launches. Japan's Prime Minister has cancelled election events and returned to Tokyo to assess the situation.
It is very regrettable that the country has continued launching missiles since last month. I'd rather not predict North Korea's intentions of firing the missiles from my point of view, but I think we must continue making efforts on grasping the situation and collecting information.
Katrina Yu joins us now live from Beijing. So, Katrina, a few conflicting details about what North Korea did today. What details do we actually know about this missile test?
Well, we do know it was an underwater missile. It's still unclear whether it was launched from an actual submarine. If it was, this would be the first time this kind of technology was successfully tested by North Korea, or whether it was, as previously, just launched from an underwater test barge. Now, according to the South Korean government, the launch took place at 10:17 a.m. local time from this area of Sinpo, which is where North Korean submarines are based. South Korea says it was one missile, but the Japanese government says it was two missiles. Now, the South Korean National Security Council convened shortly after the launch, expressing deep regrets, echoing the sentiments of the Japanese Prime Minister. But a Japanese spokesperson used stronger terms. He condemned the test, saying that it was a danger to regional peace and stability. Now, we know at the moment that, as you mentioned, the Japanese Prime Minister has cancelled his electioneering campaigning events to return to Tokyo. This missile was launched off the coast of Japan. They're extremely concerned, assessing this situation closely. So far, they say there have been no damages or casualties, but these parties are concerned because this is the 8th missile launch this year from North Korea. Earlier tests defied UN sanctions on North Korea, and the previous one was just a few weeks ago at the end of September when Pyongyang tested a hypersonic missile.
And Katrina, where does this leave the prospect of resuming talks now?
Well, the timing of this is interesting. South Korea is in the middle of a big diplomatic push to re-engage North Korea in the denuclearization process. This process completely stalled under the previous U.S. Trump administration. An envoy from the U.S. reiterated a message to Pyongyang just yesterday on Monday, saying that the U.S. has no hostile intent towards North Korea. And today on Tuesday, the intelligence chiefs from South Korea, Japan, and the U.S. are expected to meet behind closed doors in Seoul. Now, South Korea is pushing for an official declaration to end the Korean War, which is still technically underway. So we don't know whether this missile launch was in response to this flurry of diplomatic activity. What is also interesting about the timing is that this week in Seoul is the opening of this big weapons trade fair, the ADEX trade fair, happening in Seoul, where a range of Asian countries are doing their shopping for the latest new high-tech weapons. So those countries include South Korea, so it could be that North Korea is also responding to this event taking place this week.
All right, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much, Katrina Yu.